Well, hello preppers, or for some of you, maybe hello gardeners. Welcome back to Primal Prepper, or welcome to Primal Prepper if this is the first time you are watching. Today I am going to be planting some garlic out. It's mid to end November. The temperatures are starting to get cold and there should be a frost come the end of the week, maybe down as far south as in England as I am. So it is about the last time you can actually plant the garlic out. Okay, so I thought I better get on with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already pre-drilled the holes in my pots for drainage, but I will turn and show you them. And I'm going to try a few little experiments with the planting as we go, but you will see that as we go through the video. So I'll put you on pause while I turn the camera around and then we'll crack on with the video. So here we are with the pots. You can see that they are already pre-drilled. I don't drill my holes in the bottom of the pots. I drill them just, well, normally a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. If you're into metric, that would be about 15 to 25 millimeters, 2.5 centimeters off the bottom. So I should always have a little bit of water left in my pot. So it should never dry out fully. Although this one is a little bit low. I was doing 2 pots at the same time, kind of got wrong. You may have saw up on the windowsill my garlics I am going to be planting. Now that's a garlic which is for seeding or growing, and then I've got some cloves like so, which are left over from old garlic I've had from store-bought garlic and cooking. So there's part 1 of my experiments. We're going to be trying a garlic clove garlic cloves which are bought for growing from a garden centre, and ones which are just bought from a supermarket for eating. Okay, it's advisable not to use these. You don't know what type of garlic it is. You don't know if it needs any special growing requirements. Obviously that one comes with instructions on where to grow it, how to grow it, what sort of sunlight it needs and the like. This one comes with instructions along the lines of crush and chop and throw into cooking. So not quite the same. You don't know if that's had any pesticides, herbicides used on it. You don't know if it's had any other chemical treatments. You don't know if it's GMO. So it's not advisable to grow garlic from store-bought garlic, but well, we're preppers at the end of the day, needs must and all that. I don't get into the conspiracy of all the GMO and everything else. I just try to deal with the actual facts at hand. You may find a garlic in a store in your scavenging and need to grow it. So let's do it. Okay, so the other experiment we are going to do on this one, let me just put them back while you just look at my plant pot as a close-up, is, we'll take that out, bit of rubbish, is I'm actually going to throw some organic matter in here as well. Okay, so in one of I've got 2 of these pots we're going to be planting in. So I've got some potato peelings, some sweet potatoes and the like, and some carrot tops, carrot peelings are in there as well. So I'm just going to spread them out across the bottom. Where I'm actually going to be planting this out in the garden, I have got some, they're not weeds, they're flowers, but they're in the way. So I'm going to be trimming them down and throwing the leafage from that in there as well. The idea being, this will act as a mini hotbed. Okay, this will start rotting down underneath all the compost from what little heat from the sun I'm going to be getting in November. Hopefully it will start the process off and things, and then keep this particular pot maybe a 1/2 degree to a degree warmer than the other pot, thus maybe helping it grow come the springtime. But we will see as the experiment goes on. We will be checking in on other videos I do throughout the year to see how it works. Okay then. Now, as you can see, I've added a few more leaves and things where I've cut the flower foliage away from where I'm putting the pot. Now just got to put some compost in there and, well, then do the planting, I suppose. So, let's pop you there. And you should be able to see what I'm doing-ish. Close to, I suppose. Yeah, hopefully it won't fall over. Now, I'm just using chopped compost. not the best compost in the world. It's quite woody, which doesn't help, but at the end of the day it is a growing medium, and I have got the extra leaves and green waste in the bottom to help with nutrients and the like as everything starts to grow. So just break that up a bit, get rid of all the big lumps, put a little bit more on the top of. Obviously if you don't make your own compost, if you make your own compost, then by all means feel free, do that. At some point I will do a video on making compost. There's various different ways you can do it. You can get compost bins, you can make a bit of your garden set aside as a compost patch, however it may be. Now, I'd already checked the book to see how far I have to grow, what am I talking about? How far I have to put these in. So they want to go in about twice the depth of the actual clove, and they want to be about 4 inches apart. So my finger there, hopefully you can see that on the screen, is about 4 inches. So yeah, each one is about 4 inches apart. So I'll probably get about 5 in here. Now that's 2 of the shop bought ones. And I'll just break open the actual ones I got from a garden centre, which, I don't know, they feel quite empty. Maybe I left these a little bit too long. Hopefully. No, they're dead. That's bad, isn't it, for a video? But there is another little lesson in that. If you leave things too long, well, they don't last forever, do they? So we'll just put all shop bought ones in these ones. And in the other one, I will go and buy another garlic seed, or seeding garlic, while I still can. And we'll plant that in the other one, and I'll edit it in at a later date. Okay then. So here we are, I'm back indoors now. Hopefully you won't hear me out of breath. There's one thing I've learned about doing these videos. Yeah, I am really unfit. I need to build up my fitness levels, because just by doing that little video, doing a little bit of gardening, putting the soil in the pots, it's a little bit colder than I have been used to over the last month or so. I was a little bit out of breath talking as well. So it's not really good for making videos, is it? Doing something active and talking, can't do it. So yeah, maybe get a bit of a fitness plan on the go as well. And who knows, might do some videos on that as well. I've decided I'm not going to put garlics in the other pot. I'm going to put some onion sets. These are some onion sets I grew this year, earlier on in the year, before I started doing all the videos. So I'm going to plant them in and see how they do over winter to come back out. Because one of the things about gardening and prepping and all that is, yes, you can follow the books. This is the book I have been using, Crops in Small Spots. Okay, this is my son's bought me that for a present. It weren't expensive, £10-ish. So and it's got lots of ideas, growing things in pots, growing things in tight spots and things like that. It's a great little book. But yeah, sometimes what you may be prepping for could be leaving you in circumstances which are not normal. Okay, weather might change, climates might change. You may not be in your desired spot when it all happens, and you might be, I don't know, on holiday in Spain. So you might have to literally learn on the go on when to plant things out. So while everything is still good as it is at the moment, practice now. I don't know, probably ended up with about 20 or 30 of these onion sets when I grew them. So I've got a few I can play around with. I can put them out winter time now, see if they go well, and see what they do during the spring. Maybe get some early onions off them. Yes, the books might say don't put them out now. The books might say do put them out now. It depends on the type of onion or the type of thing you're planting and type of climate in your region. So I'm going to give that a go anyway. I will check into the various different flower pots as and when they go throughout the month. What I might do is at least a monthly check-in with my thermometer to check the soil temperatures. I have got a a soil thermometer somewhere in my house, because as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I grow tobacco. One of the keys about growing tobacco from seed is you need a soil temperature at a certain temperature, and I can't remember what that temperature is, but I had a soil thermometer for that specific purpose. So yes, I can check the soil temperatures and see if my green foliage in the bottom of a pot will actually make that much difference, if any. Obviously I can't do the whole garlic experiment to see which one's growing better now, because I haven't got another garlic, and I'm not going off to buy one just for the sake of buying one. Okay, because that's another thing about prepping. If you don't really need it, don't get it. Okay, I don't need the garlic cloves or the garlics to start my garlic planting, because I probably won't be doing that until the springtime anyway, which is the other time you can plant garlics. So I'm going to put onions in there instead, because I've got some onions. So it's that simple. Make do with what you have. Which brings me on to another thought I had while doing all this. Prepping by nature is actually a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? I'm preparing for an event which is going to happen, but once it actually does happen, well, I'm going to have to improvise, because I might not be in the right place. I might not be the time I was expecting it to be. It's all those sort of things go into account, and yeah, as soon as the crap hits the fan, so to speak, well, you're improvising all the way through it. Am I going to stay in my base? Am I going to go off to another place? Am I going to shelter at home? Am I going to bug out somewhere else? Even though you may have already made these choices in your head, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have to stick to those choices, or will stick to those choices when the event happens. What if you're preparing for civil unrest and power outs because of that and the like? So you're thinking, I'll just bunker in my house, protect myself from any roaming gangs and things like that, and I've got a small little generator to cook with during the night, and I've got blackout blinds and all that, and you end up having to get out of the area because sea levels are rising and you're going to flood out, and that's the disaster. What you end up using your preps for, you're on the back foot, you're improvising as soon as it happens. So bear that in mind as well as you prep. There is always something unexpected which can make things, I'm not saying make it worthless, because you always have that stuff, especially when it comes to knowledge and the like planting out while you still can now. Gardening isn't as easy as a lot of people make it look. I grew carrots this year. Yeah, it's easy. You throw carrots out in the seeding trays, and when they're big enough to transplant them out into the garden, yeah, I got carrots this big. It's not as easy as it looks. So it's all fun and games. It's all a learning process, and that is what we do with prepping. We learn as we go along, and that's why this is Primal Prepper, because I like to take things a little bit further. Instead of just getting your cans of food, your bottles of water, learning how to pickle things and jar things and tin things, as the Americans call them. Or what happens when you've run out of vinegar? What happens when you've run out of salt? What happens when you've run out of sugar? How do you reproduce those things? Do you know? That's kind of like where we will be going in the long run with these videos. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, the first episode of Primal Prepper's gardening range. Hopefully there will be a lot more coming soon, although, as I said, it is mid-November, so not much in the way of gardening to be done, but there are certain things you can do during November for the gardening, which I will try to get onto as and when I have time. See, because this is a big problem for me, my time. I do have another tarot YouTube channel, which is a tarot channel, which I was kind of slipping out there. And I also have a full-time job. I have to pay for my rent, electric and all that. Prepping, this YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, they are not by any means my full-time employment. My full-time employment involves me traveling around the country for the better part of 6 months of the year, which makes things a little bit awkward for me when I'm prepping. But as I said, you have to improvise. I might be over in York when everything goes off and all my preps might be back in Norfolk where I live. But it is what it is, and you take those things in your stride. Okay, I hope you all enjoy this. Until the next time, prep well.